Believe in yourself. In the small town of Palemore, nestled between gentle hills and lazy rivers, lived a 16-year-old girl named Mira. To anyone who passed her on the street, she was just another quiet teenager with a sketchbook under her arm. But behind those observant eyes and calm demeanor was a storm of dreams. Mira wanted to become an artista, world-class one. She dreamed of having her work showcased in galleries, of creating paintings that spoke volumes, that stirred emotions, and changed perspectives. But not many knew this, because Mira rarely said much. Her father, a mechanic, believed in hard work and practicality. Drawing won't fix a car or pay bills, he'd often grumble. Her mother, who worked at a local clinic, was supportive but cautious. It's okay to dream, she would say gently, but don't lose yourself in them. And her classmates? Well, most of them didn't even know she could draw. Mira kept her talents to herself, only sketching in the quiet, momentary mornings, during lunch breaks, or deep into the night. But Mira had a secret. Every drawing she made had a piece of her heart in it, and in those pieces, she kept alive the tiny flame of belief she still had in herself. One Monday morning, the school principal announced something that would change everything. We've been invited to participate in the National Young Artists Competition, she said over the intercom. Any student interested should submit a sample of their work to the art teacher by Friday. One finalist from our school will be chosen. Mira's heart raced. It was as if the universe had opened a small window just for her. But then came the doubts. What if I'm not good enough? What if they laugh at my work? That evening, Mira sat staring at her sketch pad. The fear was loud, but a whisper deep inside her said, "Try." That whisper, soft, fragile, was her belief trying to grow. She spent 3 nights working on her submission. The piece was titled, "Within a Surreal Painting of a Girl Standing on a Floating Staircase that Rose into a Sky Filled with Shifting Colors and Falling Clocks, each clock holding a tiny memory inside it." It was symbolic, deep, and most importantly, it was her. On Friday, with trembling hands, she turned it in. The following week, during art class, her teacher called her aside. Mira braced herself for rejection. Instead, Ms. Rao smiled wide. "Mira, your piece was breathtaking. You've been selected as the school's finalist." Mira blinked. "Really?" "Yes," the teacher said. "But you'll need to travel to Delhi for the final round next month. It's a live challenge. You'll have to paint something in front of judges and an audience. Delhi, a national stage, painting live." Excitement rushed in, but fear soon followed. Painting alone in her room was one thing. Painting under pressure, with everyone watching, that was terrifying. That night, Mira told her parents. Her mother was proud. Her father nodded, but his silence was heavy. Later, he said, "Don't get your hopes too high, Mira. Things like this, they rarely work out for people like us." Those words stayed with her, echoing louder than they should. Over the next few weeks, Mira tried to prepare. She practiced painting quickly, tried different themes, and studied famous artworks. But the more she tried, the more she second-guessed herself. Her strokes became hesitant. Her ideas felt unoriginal. She started comparing herself to others on social media, young artists who seemed miles ahead. Her belief began to fade. One evening, Mira almost withdrew from the competition. Her application form sat on her desk, unsigned. That night, her younger brother, Arav, peeked into her room. "You're going to win that thing, right?" he asked, chewing on a biscuit. Mira sighed. I don't know, Arav. He looked confused. But you always tell me to believe in myself when I'm scared. She paused. The words hit differently when reflected back. You really think I can do it? She asked him. He shrugged. Of course. You're Mira. That simple confidence, a child's belief, was a spark. Sometimes, we need others to remind us who we are. When the day finally came, Mira stepped off the train into a bustling Delhi station. The city was alive with noise, color, and movement. It was overwhelming, but also exhilarating. At the competition hall, she saw students from all over India, accompanied by teachers, parents, and art coaches. Their equipment was polished, their confidence radiant. Mira had her sketchbook, a worn bag of supplies, and a quiet determination. The challenge was announced: the human spirit. Each participant had 4 hours to paint something that captured the theme. The judges would walk around and observe. The top 3 would win scholarships and mentorships. Mira's hands trembled as she stared at her canvas. The noise around her faded. She took a deep breath, and then she began. She painted a tree with no leaves, growing out of a cracked earth. Around it, ghostly figures were seen struggling, climbing, falling. But in the center, a young girl was wrapping colorful threads around the base, reviving it. The painting wasn't perfect. Some colors bled. The proportions weren't exact, but it was real. It came from her truth. After the final stroke, Mira stepped back, exhausted. Some students had painted stunning portraits, others abstract masterpieces. A few had even used mixed media. The judges conferred for what felt like an eternity. When the winners were announced, Mira's name was not among the top 3. For a moment, disappointment surged. She had dared to believe. Had it been foolish? But then, one of the judges, a famous painter named Mr. Das, walked up to her. I noticed your work, he said. It wasn't polished, but it had soul. Don't stop painting. You have something rare, voice. That sentence stayed with her longer than any trophy ever could. Mira returned home to quiet cheers from her mother and a hug from Arav. Her father said little, but later that night, she saw something new. Her painting from the competition, framed and hung quietly on the wall of his garage. She smiled. That was his way of saying he believed too. Months passed. Mira kept painting. She opened an online portfolio. Slowly, people began noticing her work. A few commissions trickled in. A local cafe asked to display her art. Then, an email arrived from an art school in Bangalore, offering her a scholarship based on her online gallery. She had done it. She had turned whispers of doubt into a roar of courage by believing, even when it was hard. Years later, Mira stood in a gallery in Mumbai, surrounded by people admiring her first solo exhibit. Among the crowd was a girl holding a sketch pad, looking shy and unsure. Mira walked over and asked, "Are you an artist?" The girl shrugged. "Maybe, but I'm not that good." Mira smiled warmly. "I used to say that too," she said, "but I learned something. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to believe in yourself enough to begin." The girl smiled. The flame was passed on. Moral of the story: believing in yourself isn't about thinking you're perfect. It's about knowing your voice matters, your dreams are valid, and your efforts are worth it even when others doubt you, even when you doubt yourself.